a weekly live show brought to you by the team at Bunker Labs, a national network of veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs dedicated to helping the military connected community start their own businesses. We know that 25% of transition service members want to start a business and they need places inside their community where they can connect with the people, resources, and support they need. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Miss Amy Mortensen, as well as our guest for the week, Mr. Paul Bennings from Heavyweight Apparel. Paul and Amy, what's going on?
How's it going, Mike? Amy, nice to have you. How's it going? Good morning. Good morning.
So before we get into Paul and let him tell everybody about what he's got going on with Heavyweight Apparel, Amy's going to go ahead and let everybody know what's going on in the bunker this week.
Cool. Thanks, Mike. So no events this week, but next week we have 2 events on August 12th, both in person. First one is a Bunker Connect in Madison, Wisconsin. That is at 5 p.m. Central Time, August 12th, this Thursday. So mark your calendars. And then we've got a round table in Seattle at 3 p.m. same day. Also, just want to remind everybody that CEO Circle that we talked about last week, applications are open through August 6th. So get your application in now. We've got a limited space. I think about 40 companies are going to be accepted into that program. It's a huge opportunity. We're looking for companies that are at the $5 million revenue or above. More information on bunkerlabs.org, CEO-circle.
We also have a video from last week that is up on YouTube. So, any questions that you might be looking for regarding the program, what people can expect, we can also drop the link for that video in the chat. So make sure you're spreading the word about it. Like I always say on these platforms, hey, there's amazing programs out there, and we know people are seeking, but a lot of times they just don't know what's available. And so it's on us as a community. As we start to come across these programs, make sure you're sharing it with people that you can feel benefit from the information. So if you know any small businesses out there that are generating upwards of $5 million in revenue, maybe looking to make that exit at some point, get them plugged in to this cohort with JP Morgan. All right, what's up, Frank? Frank's joining the platform. Who else we got on here, man? Shout out, give us a shout out in the chat. But this is about Paul as well. So Paul, my man, welcome to the platform. How you doing today?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm doing great, thank you.
So I know a little bit about your background because I had a chance to interview you. But go ahead and introduce yourself to all those that are tuning in today.
I'm Paul Bennings, founder of Heavyweight Apparel of NYC. And we make streetwear apparel made with non-toxic, natural materials, made with 7 times less water.
One of the cool things about Paul is an Air Force veteran, and he's had quite the journey, which led him to becoming an entrepreneur. Do you mind briefly touching on that for people? Let them know how you kind of got to where you are now with the confidence to launch your own apparel brand.
Oh, it took about, I don't know. I lost track of the years, but it took a number of years of failure trying to make it out there in the traditional workforce, doing the whole 9 to 5, where I realized I wasn't getting anywhere. So after I got fired from the last job I had, I think I was working at a call center, I decided to just bet on myself and take a leap of faith and make my own thing, make my own brand.
And how's that going for you so far?
It's going really well. It was one of the best professional decisions I've ever made in my life. And I have an upcoming trade show. The first one I'll be attending, which is next week, and then one after that, the week after next. So I'm really excited, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I try to tell people, we always think of like entrepreneurship in terms of just like the financial aspect, right? Like the return on investment, but there's also this like social and this like spiritual as well, finding that sense of purpose and that meaning to wake up every day and work on something that means a lot to you. I see people in the chat. We got Monica Fullerton, from Spousely. I had a chance to interview her last night. We got Clarice Williams on here, and I think they all can speak to just this journey, that entrepreneurship takes us on. Now, one of the reasons we want to get you on here is because this trade show is like a really big deal. And I know you're excited about it, especially for you being a relatively new kind of brand. Talk to us about your brand a little bit, and then let us know about the trade show.
Sure. Yeah, Heavyweight, we make we make natural, or we make streetwear brands or streetwear apparel, excuse me, such as bomber jackets, crop hoodies, crop sweatshirts, tank tops. Our mission, our focus is on sustainability, because fast fashion is the fourth biggest pollutant on the planet. Fast fashion. When I say fast fashion, I'm talking about brands such as H&M, Forever 21. Our focus is on water conservation. So our clothes are made with 7 times less water. And that's the emphasis. But we wanted to do something a little bit different by merging the provocative aspect of fashion with sustainability, and kind of come out with our own little niche, our own little spiel, our own little thing.
You're right about the fast fashion. I had a chance to do a video shoot with Kith Clothing, which is almost like a little Supreme kind of style brand in New York City. But you definitely see these kind of, popping up. And then when I think of Heavyweight Apparel, you've talked about the sustainability piece with the 7% less water. Where does that come from? Where does that passion come for the sustainability?
Boy, someone asked me the same question, and I'm going to give you the same response. I think it comes with age, just kind of being a little bit more in tune with who you are as a person. Now I'm 42 years old, and I find myself just revisiting a whole bunch of ideas, as well as new ideas and thoughts about just how to go about living a healthy life. So things that I haven't been passionate about for some years, I find myself kind of caring about these days. Animals in particular. I'm like, well, I have this fondness for animals now, as opposed to like where I was some years back where I didn't care. Just the condition of the planet, just how we go about disposing waste, all of these things are just kind of igniting inside of me. I think it comes from age.
For those who are unfamiliar with the apparel industry, what's unique about the 7% less water? How much is the standard typically? Like, how does that affect the apparel outside of just sustainability, or something else there?
Well, I know that it takes about, I think, 1,000 liters of water to make one T-shirt. So, or I forget, I have my notes right here, so bear with me. I'm sorry, no, my bad. 2,700 liters to make 2,700 liters of water to make one T-shirt. I don't really know what the standard is, but I know that that's a lot, and our hoodies, I'm sorry, look at my notes again, bear with me. Yeah, our hoodies save up to 1,000 gallons of water. So we've been very fortunate to partner with companies that use newer dye machines that use less water to make these clothes.
What's cool about what you're doing too is that you bootstrapped this business. This is something that you kind of like just poured your heart and soul into, and that you're making happen.
Yeah. I'm no, you hit it right on the head. I don't look at it as work. It's actually the most fun I've ever had in my life. So, waking up, and as you briefly touched upon earlier or a few minutes ago, just kind of waking up with a sense of purpose, which is one of the things that gravitates me towards entrepreneurship, having that sense of purpose and, doing what you can to fulfill it. So
with this trade show that's coming up, talk to us about how you're navigating that. I know I'm terrible at events. I'm not an event person, and the idea of a trade show kind of overwhelms me. So let us know like how you're planning to make the most of this experience, and what you're hoping to accomplish with your brand.
Well, I'm looking to get a whole lot of awareness, a lot more eyes on my brand. And right now I'm working with a bunch of models and influencers that are interested in collaborating with me to, wear the apparel and just promote it. I have people passing out flyers and business cards, things along those lines. I'm also hoping to land a big fish. Hopefully I could find a vendor that wants to partner with me and, try to take this on a more, I guess, on a more global scale.
How long is this trade show?
The first one it's only 2 days. So it's the 10th and the 11th. And the one after that is in Atlantic City. And I believe that's more of a festival. It's a trade show / concert. So you're going to have some notable guests there, such as Ghostface Killer and a few other big acts. That one's from the 19th to the 21st of August.
So as you've been doing this entrepreneurial journey, right? Like, I do it on my podcast. We take off our armor. So we get vulnerable and we let people know, hey, what's really going on and what it takes to lead one of these things. What's the biggest challenge you faced thus far getting your venture to working on your venture?
The biggest one has been raising the capital. I had no idea, being that this is my first time doing one of these things, how expensive it is. It's super expensive. It's like ridiculously expensive. It's so expensive. I can't emphasize that enough. How expensive it is. Yeah,
no, I try to tell people, that's why I had a chance to, collaborate with Todd Connor on like Third Shift Entrepreneur. And one of the things is so many people don't understand about the cash flow and just how much money you have to spend to make money. We always hear you got to spend money to make money. But, we're not as open as a community, as entrepreneurs these days, about what people are doing to have that cash flow for those of us who don't raise a lot of outside investment. Sometimes people got to work 2-3 jobs, right? So they have healthy cash to pump into the business to protect that, that gap. And so I've just been, speaking a lot more openly about that. But I appreciate you sharing, how important it is to, just how expensive it is, so that people are tuning in, whether they're interested in doing apparel or doing some other venture, that they need to have cash to spend in their business to make it grow. You've got a lot of love coming out of Las Vegas over here. Like I said, Monica's showing you some love. They're telling you to look for some corporate sponsors. And I'm sure you've already kind of been doing that. Mm-hmm. Tell us about another win you've got recently. So you've got the trade show, you've got Vegas, and you got Atlanta. But what are some other wins you've gotten so far with Heavyweight Apparel?
Well, it's the first one that comes to mind that's related and unrelated at the same time is I picked up another gig. I'm in DoorDash, and that's kind of been a lifesaver of mine because the fact of the matter is, just what you just mentioned, I want to touch upon that or piggyback off of that. There's money coming in and there's money that you have in the bank, and being that I've been doing this thing, putting together this trade show and just bootstrapping it, it's been so expensive. But I had another gig, and I've been just really hustling out there in these streets, making my money, to really cover these costs and cover these expenses. So that's really been a big game changer for me. So I'm not really as stressed out as I was about a week or a couple of weeks ago, trying to figure out, well, how am I going to do this the best of my ability?
Yeah, and I'm proud of you, man, because I know how hard it is to kind of put yourself out there and really lean into it. And even though you're doing your DoorDash, whatever you got to do, man, keep your head up. I know a very successful entrepreneur, multi-million-dollar company that was driving Uber, So again, these are the stories that we need to tell to the community so that way when they're going through it, they're not going at it alone. As we start to close out, I got 2 questions left for you. One, what advice would you give to those that are tuning in today that are interested in pursuing entrepreneurship, whether it's an apparel company or some other? And then my second question is, how do we as a community support you? What can we do to support you?
Well, I'll start with the first one. I would say, take a leap of faith, try it out. If you're unsatisfied working your job or just, unsatisfied in general, I would say take a leap of faith and try it out. Life's too short. Give it a shot. Try it out. See what happens. And the best thing that can happen is you succeed, and the worst thing that can happen is, well, at least you say you tried. At least you can say that you have tried. Because of technique. And support me. follow me on Instagram, heavyweight_NYC. That's my handle. Go to the site, buy something, HAPPNYC.com. And you could also join my community number or join my community by texting me at 702-913. No, that's not my number. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to get that for you. But disregard. But yeah, follow me on Instagram and go to the site, HAPPNYC.com. It's not happy NYC. It's not happy. I know everyone just throws a Y in there. It's not. It's HAPPNYC.com.
Well, y'all heard it from the man himself. Make sure you go follow Paul and everything he's doing at Heavyweight Apparel of NYC. He's also active on LinkedIn, so make sure you connect with him on there. And Paul, man, I appreciate you for jumping on and speaking with the community today. What book recommendation do you have for everyone?
This was sent to me in the mail. Power Shift by Damon John. And I've been reading it. So far, I like it.
What's the biggest take?
Yeah. I've read a few of his other books, and it's pretty much the same format, which I like, by the way, where he interviews other entrepreneurs and they tell their story. So my biggest takeaway is the journey. The journey is the journey, you know, and it's filled with a whole lot of pitfalls, and there's some things you're going to have to do that you may like, that you may not like. But if you're persistent and consistent, then, you know, eventually you'll see the light of day. Your dream will come to fruition. That's what I've taken from that.
Love it. And I got to plug a book too. I'm going to see if y'all can see my screen here. It's called Soundtracks by John Acuff. And a lot of times we can have negative thoughts playing in our heads, right? And he references those as soundtracks. A lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome. I've interviewed, I don't know, well over 40 entrepreneurs for the transition at this point. And a lot of them, when I ask them to take off their armor, one of the things that they say is, oh, I feel like an imposter. That keeps recurring theme. And in our heads, we have these tracks playing over and over. So if you're telling you're not good enough, or you don't have enough money to do this, or now is not the right time, and all this other stuff, right? All these sounds are just playing over and over in your head. And one of the things he talks about in his book, which I thought was fascinating, was just replace the soundtracks. You know, Paul talked about starting people having the courage to step out and launch their venture. A lot of people talk themselves out of it. Oh, this is never going to work. This is never going to be the right time. I'm not going to win. And changing that soundtrack to saying something as simple as, what's the worst that can happen? Or why don't I just give it a try? Hell, just give it a try. You know, one of the soundtracks I've been playing in my head lately, y'all, is that my life is dope. I don't always feel it, because when you're making mistakes with customers, or, you know, stuff is not getting out and life hits, it's easy to say, woe is me. But when you flip that soundtrack in your head and you tell yourself your life is dope, it focuses on the present and it allows you to flip a negative into a positive. And so it's a great book, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that one. And at the very least, even if you don't really read the book, to have words, whatever, that you can put on repeat, you know. And another thing, if you're not feeling your strongest, use somebody else's soundtrack. That's another dope thing to do. So put yourself in the mind state of somebody that you look up to, one of your advisory board members, or, you know, an entrepreneur that you've come across in the Bunker Lab ecosystem. You know, because a lot of people are super anxious right now. There's a lot of challenges going on in the world as we start to come on the other side of the pandemic, and we're still in the pandemic, and mental health and all this kind of stuff. And so, you know, I came across that book, thought it was great, and felt like it was a good opportunity to recommend to the Bunker. So you got two great book recommendations for the week. One, you got Soundtracks, The Surprise Solution to Overthinking by John Acuff. And then we've also got Power Shift by Damon John. Mm-hmm. Amy, before I close us out, any final remarks or announcements, or we good to wrap it up?
Yeah, just go out there, get that CEO Circle app in. Even if you don't think you can make it this time, get the app in. We have other CEO Circle opportunities coming up, so just apply now.
And I also want y'all to make sure you download the Transition Podcast, okay? The last few weeks, we put out some really great episodes. If you're not familiar with Megan Ogilvy, the CEO of Dog Tag Bakery, check that out. Dog Tag offers an amazing fellowship to the veteran and military spouse community. We got a lot of veterans and residents. We got a lot of CEO Circle participants who've come through the Dog Tag Bakery Fellowship. That is 5 months long. You also get a stipend and a business certificate from Georgetown University. So check that out. And then I put on an audio masterclass of how to build a brand. I'm a brand guy. I love building brands, Ironbound Boxing. Y'all know me, right? And so what I did was, over the course of about 45 minutes, I walk you through the steps of how to build a brand from the ground up. Everything from your core purpose, your core values, your bold beliefs, and your brand guarantee, just to name a few. So check that out, how to build a brand. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors for not only the transition, but office hours, which is the MetLife Foundation and the Gannett Foundation. The MetLife Foundation is committed to supporting veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs. In addition, the foundation provides mentorship and financial health resources to veterans and military spouses transitioning into the workforce. A Community Thrives is a program funded by the Gannett Foundation and is part of the USA Today network, which invests in community building initiatives across the country with the goal of creating positive change through service to historically marginalized or under-resourced groups. Now, the transition, okay, I need a favor from you all. One of the things that I'm noticing is there's a demographic out there that we really want to reach, which are those young, transitioning enlisted service members. So I'm talking about that window from 20 to 24, maybe 26, right? So if you come across those young enlisted that are transitioning out, that are looking to become entrepreneurs or don't really know what their next step are going to be, make sure we plug them on the transition. And I'm also looking for entrepreneurs within that range. So somebody who's young, transition out. I don't care if you started a car dealership or whatever else. I want to get some young enlisted on the platform. So if you know any out there, if you could just send them to me via LinkedIn, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe to the show. We drop a weekly drop every Thursday. So tune into that, rate and review it, and share it. If you want to get plugged into the Bunker Lab ecosystem, make sure you're visiting bunkerlabs.org. Get connected with our online community at Bunker Online, and just make sure you're taking advantage of all the resources we're pumping to you. We're putting out a lot of content on social media, putting out a lot of content, in our newsletters and everything. So just make sure you're checking that. And if there's any feedback you have for us, just shoot me a message on the content. Let us know, what kind of stuff you would like that we are able to deliver either on these office hour sessions or on the Transition Podcast. So until next time, everyone, appreciate Paul tuning in. And for everyone out there, have a great rest of your week.
All right, y'all. Take care.